Caritas, colloquially known as Charity, the mother of all the virtues. This one caused us a certain amount of discord on Discord for like a minute. Mostly me internally, because that's how most of my fights happen. But the depiction of Caritas as Charity, she's portrayed as this figure with infants, and our modern conceptions of charity is often of giving away cash, which isn't strictly what the mother gives. The mother does give, but not cash or bread per se. And it was very important to me to use the reference image for Charity, because this is supposed to be the mother of the virtues. I used a very, very traditional model for Charity. Charity has been depicted almost in this exact pose, almost with these exact features, many, many times. It's in many stained glass windows. And I took that very traditional form. I wanted to use very close to a classical tradition on this one, because this is the one that I really wanted to link all of the virtue cards back to all of the other times the virtues have been depicted in history. And I wanted to do these subtle changes, so I used very specific modern clothing. I used these polka dots because polka dots didn't come out till a certain period in history when you could reproduce them mechanically very exactly, because prior to that, putting dotting on clothing took embroidery, so it just wasn't going to be produced at the scale unless you were very, very wealthy. So with Charity, I used the polka dots, and then I wanted to have the children in modernized clothes, so I used modern coloring. Charity is depicted with fire, so I went ahead and put fire in this little patio grill. It's called a brazier, I think. There are sometimes Charity will have several younger infants, and she'll have her foot on a pot very dramatically, tipping it over to share it. I quite liked that, and that one very much tempted me, but I wanted the different ages of children, so I stuck with this one. I did go ahead and use the overturned pot with the coins. In this corner here we have the pelican. The pelican is an image of Charity, because if the pelican cannot find food for its young, it will tear pieces of its breast and feed it to its young. And then you have grapes as a flower depicting, or well, the grapes are a plant, but they also flower. Grapes depict Charity. I wanted to have the home in the background as part of the place where Charity begins at home. That's the first thing you have to get right, is that home dynamic. And then moving on to the grotesque, I have the opposite of Charity. I have keeping all the wealth, and I decided to go in the vice with my one completely surreal element. I decided to use Medusa. I thought that was appropriate in this case, and I wanted to continue my concept of using the modern patterning. So I had polka dots, and stripes are also a kind of modern patterning, at least used in the printed fashion, and I kind of wanted to imply you're a prisoner of your vice, so I went ahead with that on Medusa. I used more printed elements incorporated. Her screen is a printed element, as well as the details inside the Platonic forms. And then with Caritas, because this is the center image of the 7, her indicators are 2 arrows on the outside and the circle in the middle. The reason the Platonic form for Charity I went with the circle is that's the holy sphere. That's the heavenly. And because Charity is depicted as the mother of all virtues, the heavenly thing, I thought that that was a good use of the Platonic form. This is the first time I've ever painted a baby. And now I understand why some people just paint cherubs, because it was quite fun. It was quite fun to paint this little fluffy haired baby. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I should add. It's been a good series. It's been very challenging. I was feeling very done about it, and then I started doing the write-ups on the symbolism and the prospect of the other products we want to make out of this, and I realized not as done as I felt like I was done. So the work kind of continues just on these 7 images, and I don't know if I'm going to do more virtues in this format in the future or not. If I do, it's at least going to be a minute, because I'm tired of this particular format. But it could happen. I really like the idea of doing diligence, especially, and there's a couple of other virtues that just really appealed when I started looking at them. So it's a possibility. But for now, we got 7 done, and we did them all in the series, and I didn't completely lose track or forget about it for years. And even though it took more than, man, I thought I could do this in like 7 or 8 months, and it took more than a year, I still think it was really worth doing. And I'm really excited about getting these into print and getting them onto products and seeing how they're received and seeing what people like them on. That always surprises me. When you do the transfer from the physical to the digital, what people actually will end up buying is just amazing. So I suppose I'm getting off topic now. So this has been Charity out of the Virtue Card Projects, out of the Virtue Card Project that was a collaborative exercise between me and the Navigating Patterns team. Thank you for viewing these, and any questions, comments, criticisms, I suppose, please put them in the comments. Thank you.